I want to read really quickly on something that I saw another content creator do a video on the other day. She did a live on this topic. It's about the Nancy Guthrie case, and she does sleuthing and card reading. If you stay to the end of this video, I might tell you a story. I'll do a story time and tell you a story about something that happened to me on her page the other day. Anyways, in her sleuthing video, she finally noticed the ring that's supposedly on the Porch perp's little finger. And I told you that we already knew there was a ring there because I saw this content creator that did speech content. Like, you could tell from people speaking if they're lying or not, right? I didn't know him from a hole in the wall, but he popped up in my feed the day after the Porch perp video came out, and he was showing you every reason why he thought the guy was a girl. And the first thing he showed was the eyebrows. Everybody was like, oh, nicely manicured eyebrows, gotta be a girl, right? Or a guy that's like a Ryan Seacrest type of guy that takes care of themselves, right? What they call it? Metro, like a Metro guy. And so he said, no, the Porch person has on like a latex mask underneath the balaclava, and that latex mask is sitting right on the top of her eyebrows. And he kept saying her, and it's chopping off some of it so it looks super thin and super manicured. And then he showed like the hips, but he showed that the person had slim hips anyways, but it was a female hip, and the person had on bolts and bolts of clothing, and the person was walking that way to disguise herself, and he kept saying her, she. He knew his pronouns. And then he showed the thing that grabbed me were the eyes that he showed, and when the person cupped the camera like this, he showed how small the little finger was, and that the person was wearing a pinky ring, and it was flat and like oval shaped, and some lines or some type of inscription was on it. He saw all of that. I don't know. He took his video down. I searched again for that video yesterday. Took his video down, right? So now this content creator finally is latching on to this ring, and then she showed that she found somebody in the family who wears a ring like that, and of course it's Savannah, the sister that's on the TV. This is the same content creator that started to believe recently that Savannah could possibly be the ringleader of this whole disappearance, and it pertains to her and her ratings at her job, that she was possibly going to lose her job, and this was a gimmick that they did to try to get, you know, sympathy and eyeballs on them, yada yada. I don't know if any of that is true. I don't know. That's that lady's theory. I'm only following it because some theories kind of make more sense to me than others, and I just feel a Jussie Smollett vibe with this whole disappearance of this old lady. And it's because I keep getting the Eight of Swords, self-imposed restriction, you know. And I wonder if it's the family that did it. Did they tell her that Savannah had a threat? You know, was Savannah really at Carson Daly's house that night? She said that the husband went on some tennis weekend and she went to Carson with her kids. I've always wondered why a grown 50-something-year-old married woman would want to go stay at a grown 50-something-year-old man's house with his wife, and I don't know if they have kids. I think Carson has a wife. Why would you want to go stay there overnight just because your husband went on a trip? Girl, stay home. Me personally, I would stay home. I think we have some lemons on the tree. I would stay home. I love my bed. I love my sanctity in my home. I love my peace. I love that I feel secure in my home. Why? I've always kind of questioned it, or not questioned, but side-eyed it. So now I wonder. So the lady said she showed the picture of Savannah when she went back to work. She sat like this, just kind of clasping her hand like this, and on the little pinky was a flat ring, oval shape, with an inscription for some type of college or some type of group or something. So I'm going to pick the ring in the middle. And the question that I'm going to ask, let me make sure the ring not up on the bottom, is this ring, the ring, going to be the thing that solves this crime? Is the ring, even if it doesn't belong to Savannah, is the ring going to solve the crime? The ending of the sentence tells me yes, it's the sun. The ring is in the middle because that's where we put it, and it came up that way. The first card is the scythe, cutting away at the bull. Cutting away at the bull. And then the ship. A lot of people think that Miss Nancy is nearby, right? Because they think she's dead. I don't think she's dead. I'm going to die on that hill. I don't think she's dead. I think she's well taken care of. She might even be in a convalescent home. Who gonna tell? Why are they not allowing Nancy's friends to talk? Where the church ladies them? Where the mahjong ladies them? Why Annie and Tommaso ain't saying nothing? I would speak with a lawyer. I would let my lawyer be there right there and tell me what I could say and what I can't say. If that girl is the ringleader, this is insidious. If. Did she promise them, I'm gonna help bail out your house, man? Because we know that they were struggling. I'm telling you, I feel kind of sorry for Annie and Tommaso. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if my sister came to me and said, let's pull this prank, but I'm gonna help you pay off your house, Babs. I see you struggling. I got you. My husband's a scrubber. We're just gonna do this on the slide, make it look like she disappeared. It's not gonna blow up big. Who's me? Nobody know me like that. Or maybe she think they know her like that, because nobody really knew her like that. I knew her, because my mom used to watch all them morning programs, so I knew of her. I don't watch morning programs, you know? I don't think she's in Tucson. I really still think she's up there with Cameron. The ring is right where we put it. That's about contracts and agreements, right? The ring has double meaning. Contracts and agreements and the ring on the girl hand. That floored me though. I have to say that floored me. I like this content creator a lot because she does her investigation. She sleuths and she reads cards. And I like her sleuthing more than anything else, right? The garden. This is like the 6 of Wands in tarot. This is going to be a public display of the bull. The sun says it all. Let's see what all we can mirror. The ship and the garden. I feel like they would have already returned, Miss Nancy, if the damn streamers would go away. But I love the streamers so much. I watch a lot of the streamers. I have my faves. And I'm not going to be talking in anybody's page anymore. Usually when I go in Criminal Network's page, Alex, I'll say hello Alex, mods, and chat. I think that's all they have, because sometimes you'll have a panel going, so I'll say Alex, panelists, mods, and chat, and I would sit quietly. I do that for the algorithm. They don't need to answer me, they don't need to talk to me. When I go into Patriots Pride, this is one of the people I really want you to go watch. I probably will promote them too at my cooking page. I really like them. I say the same thing, hello, and they always say a friendly hello. And then I go into who's JLR, I'll say hello there too, but I don't expect a hello back because his chat goes like this. And then I'll say hello at this latest page. She's the one that I asked to print my tarot cards for me, and I totally understood why she couldn't do it, right? So I didn't go back into the email to have conversations with her because I'm not her friend. She's not my friend. I just asked her a business proposition and she declined. And so I'm back in her chat where I should be. I'm not going to do gush today. I'm going to do story time. Hopefully you can hear me. So I was in the ladies page and somebody said, I don't know the person, was not wild last night on TIR's page. TIR stands for The Interview Room. That's the page with all those retired police detectives from California. And I've told you guys before, I think they're reliving their glory days. And we read on this a couple videos back where this guy, Aaron, had called in and what's his name, Chris, started to interrogate him, not just interview him, but interrogate him. And since then, he's removed that portion of the video and he has turn off the comments on that video. And I feel like either he thought this guy was somebody to look into more and he's turned over the info to the FBI, or he realizes he went too far interrogating the guy, and the guy probably is just like me, just want to talk to somebody about the case. That's why I'm glad I have this outlet with the 23 of you. I can talk with you guys about the case. I can talk to Joe, the kids, whatever. And so the poor guy's making the rounds on other people's page going, oh my God, you know, why are they treating me like this? I just called in to talk about the case. They think he's guilty. And what was I saying now? Oh, TIR. So the girl says that was wild last night on TIR. So I tapped on the girl's name and I was on the computer. So when I hit the ad, it filled out the blank for me. So I clicked on it and I said, did you notice that on that video today that the comment section is turned off? At that point, I didn't know that they had cut out that portion of the video because the video was 5 hours long. Now it's down to 3 hours. So they cut out that because he was the last call of the night. And so the person never responded, and I just assumed it's because they're on their phone, and when you do the ad, it doesn't fill in the blanks for you. On the computer it does. I don't care. I don't get offended at that type of stuff. They don't know me, right? So then another content creator tapped on my name and said, no, I was in that chat last night and it was working. And I said, no, not the chat, the comments. And so he went to go check. He tapped on my name. Sorry guys, the camera died. Right in the middle of the juicy story, right? So where was I? The guy went to go check, came back and said, oh my God, what would cause that? And I said, sometimes YT, meaning YouTube, will shut off people's comments if there's kids in the videos, and we know that wasn't the case, of course. And I said, sometimes it's the creator that does it. Never once did I call the creator's name, right? So the lady looked up from what she was doing her presentation and she says, hey, don't talk about other content creators in my chat. So I didn't think she was talking about me. And by then I had logged into this channel to try to see if YouTube would give me the hype feature, because I don't get the hype feature a lot on my cooking page. They say they don't give it to bigger channels, right? And sometimes I'll click on somebody's chat and it'll say hype this page for so much points or whatever. So I already logged into this channel and I clicked on in her chat and it says you can give her 1,000 points, and I was about to do that for the hype when I heard her say that, and I was like, who the hell is she talking about, right? And she said the name of my other channel. And so I said, but I was talking about nobody, right? Definitely not in a negative way. I didn't even, and I'm like, I didn't even call the name of the person's page, because some creators don't like you to put other people's page in their thing. I don't care. Any of my pages, I don't care, right? Unless you're bashing them. I don't allow nobody to bash nobody else in my comment section. I don't allow another YouTuber to bash another YouTuber in my comment section. Even if I don't like the other YouTuber, I will say, nah, don't do that, I'll remove it, right? And I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? So I'm logging out of this page to go back into my cooking page. And I get over there right when she's saying, you're not allowed to speak about other content creators and their rules that they run at their channels. And I'm like, okay, did I talk about the rules? No, I just said that YouTube will sometimes do that, or sometimes the creator does it. Because sometimes some creators will turn off their own comment section. I'm like, it's still not making sense, but by this time I'm getting hot behind the ears because nobody likes to be scolded. Even a child, the youngest of child don't like to be scolded. A dog don't like to be scolded. A cat don't like to be scolded, right? So it's like, why is she scolding me? And then normally I would just like shut down quietly and just leave. Even in real life, you scold me and you embarrass me, I'll just withdraw from the friendship. I'll withdraw from the relationship, and you will never find out why. I just walk away. Easier for me. So that was the easiest thing to do. But I said, no, she's not going to embarrass me like this publicly with so many people in this live, and I wasn't doing what she said I was doing. I'm very mindful of other creators and what they're doing, right? Because I don't want people to do that to me. And so I told her, I said, I'm talking about YouTube's rules, not another content creator's rules. And then the content creator that was speaking to me spoke up. And I don't know what he said, but he spoke up enough that she saw him, and I think she likes him because they're in the same sleuthing thing. And he's a smaller content creator, way smaller. I think she's got 50,000 at her page, and he's got maybe 4,000, right? I have 23 here. 23, but on my other page I have 111,000, and on that same cooking page I have it on Facebook and I have 220 something thousand, right? But nobody knows about the Facebook. So anyways, the content creator says, oh, hello, you know, blah blah blah, to acknowledge that he was there. And that's when she says, oh, you're here? Oh my God. She started to laugh. I didn't know you were in the chat. And he goes, I thought that she was talking bad against you and bashing you, and you're not here to defend yourself. Why would she think that about me? I've been with her like a month or two. I've always been respectful in the chat. I wrote her privately an email. She contacted me privately. Lovely email back and forth. I shouldn't say back and forth. One to her, she answered me, and then I responded, thank you for the quick response. I know you're busy. You know, I'll figure out another way to do the cards. It was no like, let's talk now and be chums, girl. It wasn't like that. You know, so why would you think that I would do that? And like what Joshua says, why wouldn't you like stop and read? You know, she doesn't understand that when I tapped on his name, I'm talking to him. When he taps on my name, he's talking to me, right? And I remember her asking me, why do you have a gray bar behind your name? And why do you have a check mark next to you? You're the only one with that. It was kind of like, Did you do that behind your name to try to stand out without paying the super chats? That's how I felt the question was. But I'm going to start following my feelings, and if I feel like I'm not really accepted somewhere, I'm just going to back off. So I can't tell you that I'm not going to watch this content creator anymore, because she does come up with some good sleuthing, but I'm definitely not going to speak anymore. I'm not going to speak in Alex's chat either. He hasn't done anything to me, but I'm not speaking in the chat. I'm not going to speak in JLR's chat, no matter how much I want to speak. I'm not going to speak in this lady's chat. As a matter of fact, the only chat that I'm going to speak in is Patriots Pride, because I feel accepted there. I feel respected. I feel honored there. And that's the lesson for today. Go only where you are celebrated and not where you're just tolerated. And speak up when you're being falsely accused. Okay? And remember that those that are falsely accused are next in line for a promotion. So that she falsely accused me of bashing another content creator when I was talking with the content creator. The poor content creator was like, tipped on my name and go, or tapped on my name and go, I love you. I love your show. I'm like, yeah, I love your show too, right? It really kind of bothered me after. And I haven't gone back checking to see if there's any more videos. I think it would have to pop up in my feed. I'm not going to unsubscribe. I very seldom unsubscribe from people. But I never did rush up to see when a video came out or a live came out. But if it's the title grabbed my attention, I'll go see if there's a new clue. Girl, and I still wonder, is that girl really the ringleader? Because nobody is checking for her. Chris at the interview room said, I can rule her out. I'm like, really? I remember when he said that before this lady started to think this way, and he said, the one person I can rule out is her and the brother. I'm like, really? You can rule them out though? Because I've known plenty of soldiers that have fallen, or former soldiers that have fallen from grace doing illegal things. So you can rule him out just because he was in the armed forces? Really? Really? You can rule her out just because she's supposed to be in New York at the time when the thing happened. Like, people can't command people to do things or hire people to do things. You can totally rule her out just because she's on TV. No, I can't. If she were black, would you be able to rule her out? I hate to bring color into it, but they never ruled out Jussie Smollett. They always suspected he was guilty. I hoped he wasn't guilty. So when Chris had said that, I was listening one day doing the dishes, like, really? You can rule her out? I can't rule nobody out. But I still wasn't thinking it was her. Till when this lady started to look down this avenue, I said, God, Lord have mercy. Jada has long said they're all in it. My daughter. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, and we don't know none of this to be facts. I'm hoping that none of the families involved. There, I said it. I'll see you guys on the next one.